from time to time I get questions, and some of the stuff that I've been doing is really new, like the shoulder roll and what have you. But I'd like to describe the A-gap combos, okay, especially the tackle guard combo, and we can apply it to center guard, etc., and so on. We really don't have combos in C-gap. It's A-gap, power, duo, inside zone. And basically what you have are, I put down styles, chip or dig. Chip being the shoulder roll and chip, and dig being the shoulder roll and grab with two hands. Okay. The postman, in this case the guard, is yellow light. Now there's a little variation of yellow light, and I'll explain that. The drive man is the tackle, and he is going to scrape paint. Okay, that's something you want to put in your head, scrape paint. So it's not facing the butt scoop, it's not, anything else. It's I'm going to scrape the door of my car against the door of your hip of your car. Okay, my job is to get as close to you till I can touch you and scrape paint. Okay, now the chip style, the guard would see daylight. Okay, 3 technique is the nomenclature. You got a 3 here. He's one little step and you're almost into red light. It's still yellow light because he's not really in the gap. He's not really in that gap. He's on the guard, and he's a threat to both gaps. So we say, but it's a loose. It's not like a real 2 gap. It's a 3 technique. Okay, and what we want to do there is get the tackle to get in front of him, and the guard to chip him, and that sort of builds a fence. Okay, keeps him from going this way and keeps him from going that way. We can't keep him from going that way. It's just the way it is. Okay, and again, the guard, when we're chipping, he can see daylight. Okay, he can see daylight. And what he wants to do is shoulder roll. Okay, and I've recently started talking about the slide veer step. I've been talking about a gator step, and the gator step implied that you were going to turn your shoulders at an angle. Okay, but the slide veer is pretty good because it keeps you square, and it's a little better against any kind of spike. It's easier to define, okay, and it gives you a good power base to come back at the angle and chip him. So we're going to use the slide veer step, and we're going to step deep enough for threats to the gap. Your number one thing in zone, gap, etc., is your gap. Okay, you got to protect your gap. All right, all this other stuff's baloney. Zone means I'm not really worried about a man. I'm worried about my area, my zone. Okay, so we want to step deep enough. Okay, in other words, if the next threat's a nose guard over here, we don't have to step that deep. If we see any noise or if there's a nose guard right on the center, we want to step deep enough so that if he hits our gap, we can get in front of him, in which case we would cover him up because we are in the stovepipe here, okay? Okay, and then we want to rewind and become the rock, okay? We want to get both feet on the ground and slow it down. And we want this foot, the play side gap foot, to maintain a deeper relationship than this foot. This foot's into the defender, this foot's defending the gap. That's the ubiquitous gallop, okay? Basically an open leg to the gap. We want to maintain that open leg to the gap, okay? If you close that leg up, your gap is exposed and you get what you deserve, okay? You want to maintain an open leg and you want to slow it down. Now that doesn't mean stop. That means rev that motor, rev it. Move your feet, okay? But don't pierce. Don't leave the tackle bare. Now, if somebody hits your gap, forget about the tackle. Screw them. You got to take care of your gap first, okay? But if there's nothing hitting your gap, if you got a linebacker that's sitting there trying to read the stack and all that, stay there and get something going with the tackle, okay? The technique is to use a backhand style chip. In other words, you're going to roll your shoulder down and then come back with that backhand style, just as though you were rewinding to a center before you take off and chase the linebacker. Okay, and leave the tackle access. Don't get in front of this guy. Don't get in front of this guy, postman, and shut the tackle off. Okay, if the man gets in front of you, different story. Grab him with two hands. But don't shut the tackle off. The tackle's got to get in front of this cat because you're working this gap. Okay? All right. Now, the tackle, you're going to skip to cover. And when we say that, it's not like a deep skip, like an overtake skip. You're just going to move this foot quickly, close it. I don't care how deep you take it, but you just don't want to cross under. And that allows you to close the gap very quickly on 2 steps. And your first step gets you moving in this direction, but your second step can adjust. So if this guy skins the guard real quick, you got a chance to get in front of him. If he grabs the guard, you got a chance to stretch and hammer him. Okay? So we like to skip. Okay? We like to skip. Okay. Oh, I lost my spot here. Okay, skip to cover with the far foot. Adjust with the second step. Scrape paint. That's an important thing. Off the guard. Your job is to get to the guard. Okay? Forget about the defensive tackle. It'll take care of itself. You get to the guard. Do not allow this guy to split you. That's the number one thing. We can handle penetration this way. We can't handle penetration this way. We can handle penetration this way. We can't handle penetration between you two. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. Now, don't turn your shoulders. Try and stay square. And you could argue and say, well, I'm going to scoot over there. But the problem is a scoot, the adjustment step can be 3 steps, okay? The scoot would be 1, 2, and then the adjustment step. And you could say, well, I can adjust. And hey, if you think you'd rather scoot, go ahead and scoot. I don't know. What do you want me to? I just invented this stuff. I don't know. Whoever uses it. Okay. And I believe I invented it anyway, but I'm sure people out there are saying they invented it, but who cares? Okay. If the double team occurs, okay, it's because of the defensive tackle. What he does. Okay. If he really, really tries to grab the guard, but doesn't allow the guard to define him, then that's a double team. And the key is, if that son of a bitch makes a tackle, you guys are screwed. I don't care what happens to the linebacker. If that guy makes a tackle, you guys are wrong. Okay? We have to mash this guy. The back is going to bring that linebacker to the gap, and then maybe he'll split and cut off that way, or maybe he'll go this way. But this guy has got to be killed. I don't mean killed. He's got to be smashed. Okay? After about 6 of these, this guy should be seeing canaries. Okay? And that's what we have to do. Okay, now I'm going to go turn the page. Okay, let me make sure like I said, if the double team occurs, it's because of what the defensive tackle is doing.